Alright, so this is gonna be my video on how to do better Doom clips, or faster especially. I noticed a lot of people will get to the end of their run and they do a really long Doom clip lineup that's losing them like 10 seconds. And if you're going for that lineup every time, you're not gonna see it in your time loss, but it's like 10 seconds that you could be saving for free. And I don't think there's any point in losing that at the end of the run when you work so hard for all your other time save. So, first off, download the practice mod. I'll put it in the description. Totally worth it. Way faster resets. Um, so first there's that. Second, when you come here, just aim, because like I see so many people, they come here and they chuck like three straight into the walls and they lose like a ton of time on this. Literally, just tap your aim. You can just run up, tap it for like half a second, aim for that line, and you just get it every time. It's not worth the tiny amount of time saved to just throw it without the aim. So you'll see the line I took, relatively safe. I know there's some like cheap percent lines where you can take it really fast to get out of the starting area, but So now I want to aim for the top left of this red patch, and as soon as I get past, I'm gonna hold S and D, and you'll see I get a pretty solid lineup for it. You have to adjust a little bit, but it's fast, and the more times you do this, it's a really consistent setup. Because I see a lot of people go way past the pipe, then they even out, and then they turn around, and it just loses you so much time for no reason. And I think it's less consistent because everyone's doing like different time, different amounts of like going past the pipe. So I'll do another one here. I think this line's fine to take. You don't have to do anything crazy. And then as soon as this blue part on the left side of the screen goes off, wait like half a second, and then you turn towards the pipe. And that'll give you a pretty decent line. Usually I will do a little bit shift S to come down a little bit to line up better with the top. See, I'm aiming at the top left corner of this rectangle. As soon as I scrape it, wait a half second, then S and D. And just like that. So, saves a ton of time. You can watch my inputs, it should break it down pretty well. Help you get a feel for it. Because it's really, you try to go past the pipe for like a second or so, and then you hold S and D for about a second, basically long enough that you do a full 180, and you should have a pretty good line. So I'll show you what it's like if you aim at the bottom of the red piece. It's like if I'm aiming at the bottom corner, I'll go past it for like another second or so before I turn, and you'll see it's still a pretty decent lineup. So kind of no matter where you aim on that thing, you get a good line if you just hold S and D for the right amount of time. You have to get a feel for it. You have to keep trying it. The lineups will be a little different. Really try to aim for that top left of it though. This should save you so much time. I see so many people lose like ridiculous amount of times at the end of their run just from taking long lines, and not even just from taking long lines, but then just like missing it after they take a bad line, because it's like so much harder to get a consistent setup when you're doing that. So I'm telling you, download the practice mod, practice this out, do this, because I think it's so much better. I don't remember if I said at the beginning of this video, but credit to Kama for this lineup. I asked him if it was cool if I made a video on it, so credit to him. And yeah, that's it. Hopefully I'll do one more here, just for fun. But yeah, just I really recommend everybody, even if, I think especially if you have a good time in the game, like if you're top 15 or whatever, depending on what category you run, I don't know, could be top 10. Absolutely recommend this. Even if you're like starting, I think this is probably one of the best lineups you can do, because it's just, I think it's, now I gotta do another one because I just messed it up at the end, but just have to edit that out. One take tutorial. That was, to be fair, that was nothing to do with the lineup, that was just me being bad. Okay, so you see I'm further down than normal, so I'm gonna go a little further, and then I'm gonna do it. And you'll see, you might notice I type Shift W like as soon as I make it through the pipe almost every time. That's just because I tend to go in a little bit low, and sometimes I'll crash into the bottom before I actually reach the trigger. So I usually tap Shift W just a little bit, and then at the end I hold S. Probably don't worry about doing that, but if you ever feel like you're coming in at like too steep of a decline, then you can get a feel for doing that. But anyway, that's the tutorial. Hopefully this improves a lot of people's times because there's so much to be saved on the majority of people's Doom clips.